Hello, everybody. Welcome to another KMU Live podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Jabruggi, and joining me over there again is Derek Relevert. How you doing, Derek?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. Just keeping going.
What's the latest on your medical stuff?
Well, of course, like I talked about, the blood clotting issue's fixed. I still have to get some dental work done up here, and then after that's done, and we can get it rescheduled. Get the surgery rescheduled and stuff.
Nice.
So that's where we're at.
Nice.
Supposed to actually have dental work done Friday, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because I don't know that I have enough for the copay. So we'll see.
Dental work's super expensive, dude. Every time I've ever gone to the dentist, they're like, "We can save your tooth for like $9,000, or we can pull it for $6." I'm like, just take it.
Take my tooth. They went $470 up front.
Yikes!
Yeah, like I can pull that out of the ear.
Yeah,
or any other place for that matter.
Yeah. Well, you said that you wanted to make some kind of. Let me know if I'm too loud or too quiet. I'm using a different mic tonight.
Okay.
You said you want to talk a little bit about tonight about some stuff before we get into the actual bulk cases, the bulk of the cases and everything.
I was messaging with a gal earlier whose dad's missing, and she told me the missing persons report was filed yesterday, but I'm not finding him listed on KBI. So I let her know that, and I sent her the Kansas missing person statute, which I put it there on the screen. I know it's really small, so I'm just gonna read the first few lines of it. And this was actually, I'll give you some background here. This was enacted in 2016 by then Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt, and it's been updated a couple times, and I'll go over that as I'm reading it. But basically, it says. Reports of missing persons, duties of law enforcement agencies. Number one, all law enforcement agencies of the state of Kansas or any political subdivision thereof shall accept and process without delay any report of a missing person by any person at any time pursuant to KSA 75-712B through 75-712E and amendments thereto and KSA 75-712F through 75-712H and amendments thereto. Number two, no law enforcement agency shall refuse or otherwise fail to accept a missing persons report for any reason except when the law enforcement agency A knows the location of the person reported missing, B has confirmed the safe status of the person reported missing, or C has confirmed that another law enforcement agency has already completed a report on the missing person incident. Number three, reports shall be entered into the missing person system of the National Crime Information Center, or NCIC, and the missing and unidentified person system of the Kansas Bureau of Investigation within 2 hours of receipt of the minimum data required to enter a record into such system, except as provided in some section E4, which I'm not sure where that's at, but E4, there it is, down there at the bottom. E4 would be upon determination that a missing person is a high-risk missing person, the law enforcement agency shall immediately and specifically make such determination known to the missing and identified person system of the KBI and cause the information to be entered into the missing person system of the NCIC, National Crime Information Center, as soon as possible after the minimum information to make such entry is received. And I just wanted to bring that up because I still, even though this statute's been active since 2016, I'm still running into law enforcement agencies that aren't exactly following it and getting them into KBI, within that 2 hours. And it's important that gets done. So, I just, I have this on my computer. I took it directly from the Kansas legislature website, and I save it on my computer. If anybody wants a copy of it, I'll be glad to email it out to them. No problem. I just wanted to address that again because, like I say, just every so often this issue pops up, and I just kind of want to make sure that everybody's aware that the statute is there and active. And, like it says at the very top there, all law enforcement agencies of the state of Kansas or any political subdivision thereof shall accept and process without delay any report of a missing person by any person at any time. And they cannot refuse unless they know where that person's at, they've confirmed they're safe, or they know another law enforcement agency has already filed that report. And it has to be an NCIC, National Crime Information Center, and on KBI, Kansas Bureau of Investigation's website, within 2 hours of that report being taken. So I can't stress that enough. I just want to make sure that's known.
Yeah, sometimes I'm curious if it's law enforcement like being obtuse. Maybe they don't know. I think a lot of times it's just maybe they don't know, because back in the day, we read so many flyers where a kid will go missing in the 70s, and it's like the police told the parents she was probably a runaway. It's like, what are you talking? But I think like this, it says 2020 and everything. I think that the whole you have to call a missing person right away, I think that's fairly new in the big grand scheme of things. And I think there's probably a lot of officers that don't know that that's the new protocol. But I mean, there's a whole television show called First 48. Like, if something happens to somebody, the time is of the essence right away, right away. Shout out to Christopher Unruh in the house. Roxanne Ann Fisher is here. Ellen Dotson. Raynetta Hubbard is here. Tammy Sue Koch is here. Yeah. Have you had a problem with police doing that? I think it happens every once in a while. We hear about that. You find out. But again, I would wager that maybe they just don't know that's the new protocol. I don't know. Hopefully people aren't out there like actively trying to stop people from looking for a missing person. But
yeah, and another issue that I see is and it's true, if it's an adult, they could be missing if they want.
Yeah.
But they still have to follow the processes of the statute. And if they find the adult, all they need to do basically is verify that they're safe and that they're okay. And if they don't want their location to be known, they don't have to tell the reporting party where they are. They just say, we found them, they're safe, but they don't want anybody to know where they are. And that's all they have to do. I mean, that's the bottom line. Of course, juveniles are a different story, but, adults, I mean, that's how they have to pursue that with an adult. And I have verified that through law enforcement. I have asked law enforcement that, and that they have confirmed what I have said. So I know that's accurate. So,
well, we thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We got a full show for you. Lots of cases to get through. Just like every week, we're going to start with the cold cases. If you have any cases you want us to cover, please message the page that you're watching currently on. You can go to Facebook and look for Kansas Missing and Unsolved. You can see all the flyers we're going to share tonight right there on that page. And if you have any questions, there is information on that Facebook page to contact Ricky, and he will get a flyer made if you need a flyer made. Jackie Dene May, 1981 case.
Yeah, that's been going for a while there. Tammy, I have had issues with, working with families that said, the police don't seem like they're doing much and this and that. And then like I said, with this particular one that I was helping this gal with tonight, she was saying, I was looking on KBI, I couldn't find her dad on KBI. So I let her know, send her the statute, and she's going to give it to her mom so her mom can follow up with police departments and find out why he's not listed on there like he should be. So, so that's where that's at. But, and Tammy's also saying, hopefully I'll be able to get my surgery taken care of soon. Actually, the whole moving thing, I'm not sure on right now, because my understanding was we were supposed to get a notice on the 1st that we were supposed to vacate in 5 months. And then instead of getting that, we got a deal that says they're going to put us on a month-to-month lease, and we have to do background checks and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get on to Jackie Hay here. This one's been interesting. I was noticing on one of her older flyers that I posted back in 2020, somebody using the name Jackie Hay commented the flyer with "found" on it. And so I I got a hold of Topeka Police and let them know, and turns out I know somebody that knows somebody in the Hay family, so I talked to them, let them know what's going on. They in turn gave me the detective's name and number for Jackie's case, so I talked to him, and he's going to dig into it. So just some strange stuff going on there. But anyway, Jackie Hay is missing from Topeka, Kansas, on September 12th of 1981. She was 5 when she went missing. She's now 49. 3'6", 45 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. She disappeared after going out to play with her step siblings and other children in the front yard of their home in the 3100 block of Southeast Colfax in Topeka. Eventually, all the other children went inside, leaving her alone. Her family was getting ready to go to a house they were building south of Topeka when they discovered that Jackie was missing. And it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on September 12, 1981. Jackie was last seen walking away from the Colfax and Golf Park near Southeast 31st and Bryant, about one block east of her home. She was apparently being followed by a man at the time, and she's never been heard from again. Authorities did not begin searching for Jackie for 4 hours after her disappearance was reported. Police picked up a local man at the same time who matched the description of the man seen following Jackie. They questioned him for hours about her disappearance, but they ultimately released him without any charges on him. Jackie has freckles across the bridge of her nose and one small freckle between her right thigh and pelvis. She has a small cavity between her upper front teeth. She has a small scar along her right eyebrow, and her hair was cut in a Dutch boy style at the time of her disappearance. If you have any information regarding Jackie's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And see what we can do to find Jackie and get her back to where she needs to be. Definitely an interesting case for sure.
Shout out Esther Unruh. Yeah, that's an awful situation. 1981.
Yeah, and like I said, I did speak with one of her family members over the weekend, and you know they're still really having a hard time with it after all these years. So let's see what we can do to help them out. And this is Haley Davis, missing from here in Salina, Kansas, since July 21st, 2023. 19 when she was missing. She's now 21. 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. Haley left Salina with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita, Kansas. She was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st, 2023. Wichita police say the investigation has led them to believe that Haley may be deceased. And she was 19 when she was missing. She's now 21. 5'6" to 5'7". Weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde. She has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, or you know of her whereabouts or the location of her remains, please call Detective Owen at 316-268-4185, or you can email aowen@wichita.gov. And to remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111, or KBI at 785-296-4017. or 800-572-7463. Or you can scan that QR code in the Crime Stoppers banner there, and that will take you to a form on the Crime Stoppers website. You can fill out your information anonymously that way as well, and see what we can do to get Haley located and back home to her family. And yes, even though she's missing from Salina, the Wichita Police Department is the correct law enforcement, as they are now leading the investigation. So, and that's based on the fact that she went to Wichita from Salina. So,
yeah.
Yep. And this is getting close to coming up on his 1-year anniversary. Kyle Neugebauer. He is missing from Wichita, Kansas since December 17th, 2024. 26 when he went missing, now 27. 6 foot tall, 155 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Last seen near 143rd and Highway 254 in Wichita around 10:30 that night. Again, he was 26 when he went missing. He's now 27, 6 foot tall, 155 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Has a tattoo of the date 11/16/2018 on his inner left forearm. Picture of it down there at the bottom there. He's last seen wearing a black Carhartt jacket, jogging pants, and tennis shoes. If you have any information regarding Kyle's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4111 or 316-263-6011 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Kyle located and back to where he needs to be. Let's see. Yes, Lori Heimer. I wish we could get some leads on that case for them.
Right.
Yeah, this is Lori Heimer, unsolved homicide. She was brutally stabbed in a rural area Kansas home on June 25th, 2016. Lori ran her business, Lori's Poodle Patch, from her home. Lori was a licensed breeder of miniature-sized poodles and was licensed through the state of Kansas. Kansas Bureau of Investigation was contacted to assist Saline County Sheriff's Department in the investigation. They responded with agents and their crime scene response team. During the investigation, 2 vehicles of interest were developed. Vehicle 1 was said to be an older flatbed pickup truck, possibly a Chevrolet, which is described as beat up, maroon in color, with a white front bumper, silver grille, and wide-style side mirrors. The driver is described as a man who was 50 years of age or older with salt and pepper hair. Vehicle 2 was an older style small pickup truck, possibly a Chevrolet OS10 with a 2-tone paint job, dark blue on the top and bottom with light blue in the middle, a silver back bumper, and a newer blue tailgate that appeared to have minimal damage when compared to the rest of the body of the truck. The remainder of the vehicle is described as beat up and scratched up. There may have been 2 animal cages or crates in the back. The driver of this second vehicle is described as a white male, approximately 40 years of age, with shoulder-length hair and wearing glasses. Investigators have said they would like to locate these 2 vehicles. They would also like to speak to anyone that had any contact or a business appointment with Lori at any time between June 20th and 25th, 2016. If you have any information regarding the homicide of Lori J. Heimer, please call the Saline County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-826-6500 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. There is a reward of $37,500 being offered for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Lori's murder. So let's see what we can do to get that information in there to help them get on the right track to helping bring somebody to justice for Lori and her family. Mm-hmm. They definitely need all the help we can give them. All right. This is Jamie Zubia Hernandez. Another unsolved homicide from Kansas City, Kansas. She was 13 years old when she ran away from her foster home in Athena, Kansas on June 9, 2012. Prior to her disappearance, Jamie had been prosecuted in a juvenile court for drug possession. She was due in court for her sentencing shortly after her disappearance. Jamie never showed up and was never seen by her foster family again. There was unfortunately very little media coverage on Jamie's disappearance, likely due to her runaway status, which I'm sure that's very true. 3 years later, during the early morning hours of May 30th, 2015, a Kansas City resident called police to report a shootout on the 2500 block of Ridge Avenue. According to the witness, 2 vehicles fired shots at each other, and a female passenger in one of the vehicles was killed as a result. The female passenger's body was dumped on the side of the road, and the vehicles drove off before police arrived. 2 days later, on June 1st, 2015, authorities announced that the slain female was identified as Jamie. The identity of Jamie's killer remains unknown, as does the identity of the driver in the car Jamie was riding in when she was shot. Additionally, Jamie's whereabouts from June 2012 through May 2015 still remain a mystery. Although she was ultimately found in Kansas City, it's not known where she stayed or how she survived during those 3 years. Investigators said they received a tip that Jamie was in Kansas City back in 2013, but when they followed said lead, they were unable to find her. On the night of July 2nd, 2015, one of the vehicles involved in the crime was found abandoned by the Kansas City Police Department. The vehicle was described as a white late 1990s or early 2000s Ford F-150 pickup with flared sides, tinted windows, 20-inch chrome rims, and maybe a bullet hole in the tailgate. A touchscreen device was found inside the cab, but it is unclear what was inside the device and if any of it was relevant to Jamie. If you have any information regarding Jamie's murder, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the Athena, Kansas Police Department at 785-989-4521 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. Or there you can scan the Say It Here QR code in the banner there, and they'll take you to a form on their website, and you can give your information that way as well. That's what we can do to get some justice for Jamie and her family and friends. Just a senseless way to end somebody's life. Stupid argument, and she gets caught in the crossfire and then just dumped out on the street. It's a bad deal. Another reason I always say, even though a teenager may be a runaway, it's still imperative and important to find them, just to get them out of harm's way, just in case. Because you don't want to see things like that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, they can happen anywhere. I was just saw a news story in Stockton, California, where child's birthday party was in full swing. I remember it was a child's birthday party. And for whatever reason, gunshots broke out at this child's birthday party, and 3 children died and 1 adult died.
Yeah, the news is just like, you watch it. I don't know about you, but like I saw that same headline, and like I wasn't even like surprised. I was just like, "Yep, sounds about right." Like it's like they're running out of places to have shootings. A child's birthday party. Okay,
yeah.
It's nuts, man. That people can't just at least behave themselves when they're in public,
Yeah. I saw a video clip this morning of the dad of one of the children who was 14 years old. And he was saying that he grabbed his daughter and ducked behind the counter and then saw his son was down and he grabbed him. And he said he was just really gasping hard for air and stuff. And I think he passed at the hospital. But yeah, he was 14 years old. Just insane.
Yikes.
And this flyer here is Trayvon Stewart. This is back in October 23rd, 2025, so just a couple of months ago. 32-year-old Trayvon Stewart died from his injuries after he was shot on the night of October 23rd, 2025, in Dr. Glenn Day Park, formerly known as Grove Park, in the 2800 block of North Grove Street, southwest of K96 and Hillside. The shooting happened near a youth football game in which 200 to 300 people were gathered. Trayvon was a youth football coach of Wichita, and he was at the park selling concessions as a fundraiser for a football team not affiliated with the Wichita Junior Football League when he was shot. Despite hundreds being near the scene when the shooting happened, police have not made an arrest in this case. If you have any information regarding Trayvon's death, please call the Wichita, Sedgwick County, Kansas Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111, or you can scan the QR code in the banner below and submit your information on the Crime Stoppers website. There is a reward of up to $10,000 being offered through Crime Stoppers of Wichita, Sedgwick County for any tip that leads to an arrest in Trayvon's death. So there again, shooting breaks out of a youth football game.
Yep.
Just insane. People, put the guns away.
Yeah.
Live and let live. Put the guns away. It's ridiculous.
Just go to the concession stand, get you a snack, watch the game.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's not good, man. Larry Tate Adams Jr.
Yeah, we do have several unsolved homicides on the show tonight. I did several over the last week. So, and I've got at least one more. It's another Topeka case, 16-year-old. But this is Larry Tate Adams Jr. This was September 26, 2009. Topeka police officers were called about 4:40 p.m. on September 26, 2009 to a residence at 918 Northwest Western, just east of McKinley Park, after receiving a report of a shooting. After arriving at the scene, police found Larry Tate Adams Jr., 35, suffering from a gunshot wound. Larry was taken to Stormont Vale Regional Health Center by American Medical Response Ambulance in serious condition. He died later that evening. Witnesses told police that Larry and another man had been arguing before the shooting. Witnesses described the shooter as a white male in his 20s with brown hair, brown eyes, standing 5'8", weighing between 140 and 150 pounds. The assailant was said to have been wearing a hooded sweatshirt at the time of the shooting, and was driving a green vehicle, possibly a Dodge Neon or Ford Taurus. If you have any information regarding the shooting or any other homicides, please call detectives at 785-368-9400, or you can leave anonymous tips by calling Crime Stoppers at 785-234-0007, or you can go to ShawneeCountyCrimeStoppers.com and fill out the form there and submit your information that way as well. And see what we can do to get Larry some justice and his family some justice, and yeah, just senseless.
Yeah.
And this one's Antonio Booker. Another Topeka case. This is January 9th, 2010. 9:15 p.m. Antonio D. Booker, 29, was shot and killed at 1438 Southwest Van Buren in central Topeka. Topeka, Kansas police officers were called to the address on a report of a shooting. Officers arriving on the scene found Antonio had been mortally wounded. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Several people who were in the apartment at the time of the shooting were interviewed and are considered witnesses. If you have any information regarding Antonio's death, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9400 or 785-368-9200, or the tip line 785-234-0007, or you can visit ShawneeCountyCrimeStoppers.com and fill out the form there and see what we can do to get Antonio's family some justice and get Antonio justice as well. And this is Brian Wright Jr. Let's see, here we go. This was June 21st, 2024. Brian Wright Jr. was shot and killed, and a woman was hospitalized with life-threatening gunshot wounds in Topeka on June 21st, 2024, shortly after 2:15 in the morning. Topeka Police Department was called to the area of 3100 Southwest Westover Road for gunshots in the area. They arrived to find Brian and an adult woman with life-threatening gunshot injuries. They were taken to a local hospital by ambulance. Brian died from his injuries. Police said the shootings were intentional and premeditated, but it's unknown how the victims were known to the killer. Police believe the shooter was acting on behalf of a gang, according to the report. The woman who survived the shooting lives just around the corner from where the shootings occurred, outside a family's home in the 3100 block of Westover. A 1-year-old and 3-year-old live inside. Police said that the family was unknown to the victims and the suspects. If you have any information regarding Brian's death, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9400 or 785-368-9200, or call the Shawnee County Crime Stoppers hotline at 785-234-0007, or you can email your tips to telltbd@topeka.org. Sorry about that. Or you can go to the Crime Stoppers website, ShawneeCountyCrimeStoppers.com, and fill out the form there and see what we can do to get some justice for Brian and his family and friends. And this one is Drew Davis. This is August 6, 2025, so just a few months ago. Topeka, Kansas police officers responded just after 11 p.m. Wednesday, August 6, 2025, to the 100 block of Northwest Kendall Avenue. Drew Davis, 42, was located in the area suffering from life-threatening injuries. Medical personnel pronounced Drew dead at the scene. If you have any information regarding Drew's death, please call Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9400 or 785-368-9200, or Shawnee County Crime Stoppers at 785-234-0007, or you can email your tips to telltpd@topeka.org, or you can go to ShawneeCountyCrimeStoppers.com, fill out the form there, and see if we can get some justice for Drew Davis and his family and friends as well. And this one is Gerald Avery. This is July 21st, 2025, so over the summer, just a few months ago. Topeka police were dispatched around 2:15 a.m. on Monday, July 21st, 2025, near the Quick Shop at 4500 Southwest Topeka Boulevard. At the scene, one of the shooting victims was found injured near the front door of the convenience store. That person was transported to a local hospital by ambulance in critical condition. The victim, identified as 33-year-old Gerald Avery, was pronounced dead at the hospital. It's unknown where the exact location of the shooting occurred or how the wounded person ended up in front of Quick Shop. If you have any information regarding Gerald's death, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department, 785-368-9400 or 785-368-9200, or Shawnee County Crime Stoppers, 785-234-0007, or email your tips to telltpd@topeka.org. Or again, you can go to ShawneeCountyCrimeStoppers.com and fill the form out there as well, and see what we can do to get Gerald Avery and his family some justice for Gerald's death.
One more cold case. We got some missing teens, and we have some out-of-state flyers.
Yeah.
Quite a few cases tonight for sure. Wichita John Doe.
Yeah, this is a Wichita John Doe from 1986. Wichita Police Department and Sedgwick County Regional Forensic Science Center are asking for the public's help in identifying a male pedestrian who was killed in a traffic collision in 1986. Early morning hours of August 29th, 1986, the male was walking on West Kellogg in the area of Seneca when he was struck and killed by a motorist. The male is described as about 30 years of age, 5'10" and a half, 5 foot 10 and a half inches tall, 175 pounds, scar on his left knee and a scar on his forehead and his hairline. The male was wearing a white tennis shoes, blue jeans, and a yellow T-shirt, screen printed Northeast Community United Church of Christ, people to belong to. Excuse me. Long sleeve brown flannel shirt and dark green and white Alpine style sweater. And you can see a pattern of the sweater up there. Photo shared is of the male with some digital editing. Also provided is a photo of the pattern on the sweater the male was wearing. If you believe you know who he is, please contact Detective Anna Owen at 316-268-4185 or aowen@wichita.gov. And there's the case numbers to reference down there at the bottom there. And see what we can do to help give Wichita John Doe his name back so he can be returned to his family.
Were some of those newer tonight that we haven't? Maybe we showed them in the past, but I don't see like a lot of those cases we have seen on here in a while.
No, those are all new flyers I just did within basically over the weekend.
Okay, so, you probably mentioned that, but yeah, I was gonna say I didn't notice any of those.
Yeah. And now we're getting into the missing teens, and this one is McKenna Wade, missing from Kansas City, Kansas since November 30, 2025. 17 years old, 5'5", 140 pounds, brown hair that was dyed black with purple on top and brown eyes. She has a bridge piercing in the bridge of her nose, hoop piercings in each nostril, vertical eyebrow piercing in her left eyebrow, an anti-eyebrow or surface piercing under her right eye, and snakebite piercings in her lower lip. And thank you to my younger daughter for helping me identify all those piercings by proper names. If you have any information regarding McKenna's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get McKenna located and back to where she needs to be. And this one is Khadijah Beaver. She's also missing from Kansas City, Kansas on November 30th, 2025. She's also 17. I believe they went missing from the same location at the same time, not knowing whether they're still together or not. But they did go missing from the same place at the same time. She's 5'9", 170 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. The center photo was just sent today. And so that was a very recent photo of her before she dyed her hair. So I'm not sure what color she dyed her hair, but she did dye her hair. But if you have any information regarding Khadijah's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 And see if we can't get Khadijah located and back to where she needs to be. And I hope I said her first name right. If I did not, I apologize.
Right.
And this is Ohana Miller. There it is. Missing from Topeka, Kansas since November 20th, 2025. She's 16, 5'4" to 5'5", 135 pounds, dark brown hair, hazel eyes. She was last seen on security camera leaving her residence in a white 2008 to 2012 Ford Escape with two other individuals. The driver is an adult male. There was another individual in the back seat, and there's no information on who that person is. If you look at the photo of the truck there, there's a screenshot from the security. Ohana is actually standing in the crack of the door, and the person in the back seat actually opened the door for her when you watch the video. I've got a different screenshot where you can see the driver looking more face forward. I think this one they're kind of turned around a little bit, but that's an actual still from the security. Ohana is autistic, and she does have other conditions that she takes medication for that she does not have with her. Apparently, she's been was recently diagnosed as autistic about 6 months ago. And again, she's 16 years old, 5'4" to 5'5", weighs 135 pounds. She has dark brown hair. When she left, she had long black braid extensions in her hair, described as almost wig-like, and hazel eyes. If you look at the picture, the black and white picture, they're both from the same security thing. It started out black and white and it switched over to color. But you can see on either side of her face the braids. If you look real close, you can see the braids there. She was last seen wearing a black hoodie, black sweatpants, tan shoes, and a black bonnet that says Taurus across the front, where again, the black and white photo there. You can see the Taurus right there on the front. And if you have any information regarding Ohana's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9200 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get Ohana located and back to where she needs to be. And that was an interesting flyer to do because I wanted to make sure on the screenshot of the vehicle, I wanted it to be just right so you could see the person in the back, person in the front.
There's cameras everywhere. I don't know why anybody does anything these days.
Yeah. And this here is Emily Miller. She is missing from Wichita, Kansas since November 1st, 2025, 17 years old, 5'4", 140 pounds. Hair was last known to be dyed pink. She has brown eyes. She does have a nose ring in her right nostril. If you have any information, it's believed she may be with an adult male. I need to put that out there too. It's believed it may be with an adult male. If you have any information regarding Emily's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department, 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Emily located and back to where she needs to be. All right, now we're going to move outside of Kansas a little bit here.
Yeah.
Actually, one of them is quite a ways out of Kansas. This one here, Madalena Kojakari. This one's a case I've been following for a while. I keep checking back for updates and things of that nature. It's just a really puzzling case. She's missing from Cornelius, North Carolina since November 21st, 2022. 11 years old when she went missing. She's now 14. 4'10", 90 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She was last seen on surveillance video getting off her school bus on November 21st at 4:59 p.m. You can see the far right-hand picture there is the screenshot from the video from the bus. Madalena was reported missing to her school on December 15, 2022. Both Madalena's mother and her mother's husband have been arrested for failure to report Madalena missing. Not sure about the stepdad, but Madalena's mom has since been released, and she has returned to her native country of Moldova. Madalena's mother reportedly told detectives that her daughter did not have a phone and that a book bag with some of her clothes was missing. She also told the detective that Madalena did not have any friends or family that she would be with. She was last seen wearing a white t-shirt, jacket, jeans, pink and purple, and white Adidas shoes. Some of the other information I've read recently, too, is there were warrants that were released, and some media outlets got hold of warrants, and some of the warrants talk about detectives finding some of Madalena's stuff burned in a fire pit, I believe in the backyard of the house. Also talked about mom talking to a priest and telling this priest that she had a bag full of money. And that was right before she returned to her home country of Moldova. One report I read, law enforcement's leaning towards the possibility that she may have been trafficked. Not 100% sure. But it's just a very perplexing case all the way around. Like I said, I don't know about stepdad, but mom's already fled the country. But if you have any information regarding Madalena's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Cornelius, North Carolina Police Department. It's 704-892-7773 or North Mecklenburg Crime Stoppers at 704-896-7867. There is a $25,000 reward being offered for any information that leads to an arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Madalena Kojikari's disappearance. So if anybody has any information that can help that investigation along, please get it called in. See if we can get this little girl found. It's just very weird.
Yeah.
Very, very weird. And this is another one this is actually one of the earliest cases that I was ever really involved in that was outside of Kansas. And I got to be pretty good friends with her sister. Haven't talked to her sister in quite a few years. But this is Patricia Ann Lalonde, missing from Mount Olive, North Carolina since February 22nd, 2022. Was 43 when she was missing. Should now be 56. 5'8", 95 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde. She has brown eyes. Last seen in the 500 block of Franklin Street in Mount Olive, North Carolina on February 22nd, 2012. She went to a friend's house to get some medicine for herself and her boyfriend and left there driving her scooter. She's never been heard from again. Her 49cc scooter, a yellow Eton Beamer with black side mirrors and pink stickers on the front and sides, is also missing. I got a photo of it up there on the top right there. It's not a very good photo, but it gives you an idea what it looks like there. She does have contacts in North Carolina cities of Mount Olive, Dudley, Calypso, and Warsaw. Her mother lives in Borger, Texas. Patricia may frequent the areas associated with illicit drug and prostitution activity, and she may also be carrying a knife. She has numerous scars from self-inflicted cuts on her arms and legs, a tattoo of a scribbled word on her upper arm, and a tattoo of a Celtic cross on her ankle. She may have colored extensions in her hair, and her nickname is Trish. She has 2 of her front teeth missing. She also suffers from multiple health problems, including a prior bout with cancer. She was last known to be wearing a white tank top, a miniskirt, slip-on shoes, and a black motorcycle helmet with multiple scratches on it. If you have any information regarding Patricia's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Mount Olive, North Carolina Police Department at 919-658-5031. And see if we can do to get Patricia located and back to where she needs to be. And Dana Bruce, one we've been covering every week for quite some time. And we'll continue to do so until something happens in her case. But she's missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. Was 23 when she was missing. She's now 40. 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. Dana was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She had left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was last seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man Dana was with on the night she vanished. Traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. Told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. And when she went missing, she was 23. She would now be 40. 5'2", 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots, black at the ends with red highlights, and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black T-shirt with the word "Rebel" and silver lettering on the front, and blue jeans. She also has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100, or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422, or you can call Private Investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070. I need to go back and rewatch Southern Girl's Crime Story video where she covers Dana's case and talks about a lot of other information in her case. Talked about a green pickup being involved as well, possibly. I need to go back and rewatch that to get my facts straight, but it does allude to a possibility of a green pickup.
Really? I haven't got to watch it yet. I need to watch it. I'll probably watch it this weekend.
Yeah, Southern Girl Crime Stories. It's like the second case in on the video, I think, but I need to go back and watch that again so I can get that straight. But it does have a lot of information I hadn't heard before, and of course Ellen Dodson that watches our show, which I see her in the comments there. She's the one that I told her about the show too, and she watched it, and I told her, I said, there's a lot of stuff in there I had never heard before in connection to Dana's case, and she verified it. So I need to rewatch it so I can kind of talk about it in more detail is what I need to do. So, but this is Jeremiah Demetrius Moneta, missing from Ponca City, Oklahoma, since January 17th, 2025. He was 22 when he went missing. He's now 23, 5'9", 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He recently moved to Ponca City, Oklahoma from Kansas City, Missouri. His bank account has not been touched, and his apartment showed no signs of disturbance. Jeremiah's cell phone was found in someone else's possession, and his asthma inhaler that he never leaves behind was found on a stranger's porch, which I find very, very weird. But with the fact that his phone was with somebody else and the inhaler was on a stranger's porch, especially when he never leaves that asthma inhaler anywhere. But again, he was 22 when he went missing. He's now 23, 5'9", 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Does have facial hair. He does have a Playboy bunny tattoo on his shoulder blade. He's last seen wearing a Kansas City Chiefs hoodie, jeans, and work boots. I'm assuming that's the Chiefs hoodie in the far right-hand picture there that he's wearing there. If you have any information regarding Jeremiah's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Ponca City, Oklahoma Police Department at 580-767-0370, or you can call their tip line at 580-762-5100. Or you can text Ponca City Police Department plus your message to crimes 274-637 from your cell phone. And if you want to email your information, you can email it to crimestoppers@poncacityak.gov and let them know that way what you might know about the case, and see if we can't get Jeremiah located and back to where he needs to be. Now, Ellen down here, she got a couple comments. So you can go ahead and talk about the person of interest driving a green truck. So, okay, the person of interest was driving a green truck, not a red truck. And she says the person of interest was not driving the red truck. Okay. I couldn't remember exactly how that went from Southern Girl's video, but I remember talking about the green truck, and I was like, that's the first I'd ever heard of that. So that's interesting information to know. And this is Destiny MacArthur. We've covered her several times, but this time she's missing from Kansas City, Missouri, instead of Kansas City. I think I can't remember what it was in Kansas the last time, but now she's missing from Kansas City, Missouri since November 25th, 2025. She's 17, 5'8" to 5'11", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Don't have much more than that, but if you have any information regarding Destiny's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department at 816-234-5043 or 816-234-5111 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422. And the most recent pictures of her that I've gotten a hold of was the far right-hand one there with the phone, and then the center one were the two most recent ones that I've gotten of Destiny there. So let's see what we can do to get Destiny located and back to where she needs to be. What I need to do is rewatch that Southern Girl video with notepad in hand so I can jot notes as I'm watching. That's what I need to do. And Derek, you're muted.
Yeah.
I think that was the last case for tonight. I think we had like 21 in total tonight.
A lot of them, man.
A lot of them. A lot of unsolved homicides. That's what I think added to the amount of cases. What I had a lot is I had a lot more unsolved homicides, which, you know, I needed to add more of those in there. I haven't really had a chance to do many recently until over the weekend and stuff. So it was nice to be able to add some of those in there, because that's the unsolved part of Kansas Missing and Unsolved is the unsolved homicides and the unidentifieds, which we covered one of those tonight. So, but yeah, I just can't believe all the unsolved homicides. It's just crazy. Just crazy. Yeah, like I said, after the show, I've got at least 3 flyers I need to make after the show tonight too. So I won't be going to bed anytime soon. I can promise you that. I just thank you everybody for joining us tonight and going over these cases with us tonight. And hopefully somebody out there will know something that can help, you know, bring some of these cases to a close. It'd be nice. So, yeah. But see what we can do to help some of these cases out. I know I'm a firm believer, and somebody out there knows something, whether it's the perpetrator or whether it's a friend or acquaintance or family member of a perpetrator. Somebody knows something, and they just need to do the right thing and speak up. It's just bottom line. Need to speak up, you know. And with that being said, I just want to thank everybody again for being with us tonight to go over these cases. And just want to say, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight so we could go over these cases and hopefully help bring some closure to some families of some of these victims of these unsolved homicides, and bring some folks home that are missing. And the one gentleman that we covered, they're trying to figure out who he is. Hopefully we can help give him his name back so he can be returned to his family as well. Again, just always, like I say, just pray that they reach the right ears, the right hearts that will actually step up and do the right thing. And pray that you lead them to do that, Heavenly Father. Until we see everybody again next week, everybody stay safe, stay healthy. God bless, and have a good night. Amen.
Amen.